Do you want to let customers book restaurant tables just by calling a number, with no staff involved? In this video, I will show you how to build a fully functional voice assistant for restaurant reservations using VAPI, Make.com, and Google Sheets. So first, what we need to do is we will need to create a Google Sheet, which is going to be used as our database or as our storage, if you want to call it, for all the bookings that are being made. So I've already created a completely empty Google Sheet. So what you need to do is you need to go to your Google Drive and just create a dummy bookings Google Sheet. And what we want to do next is basically we want to add some column names. So these will be like placeholders. So the first one will be name. Then we can say that the second one is party size. And then the third one will be date and time. So whenever anyone speaks to our voice assistant, then they can share their name, the party size, and the date and time. And this is where all this information will be added later on. So what we need to do next is basically we need to go to VAPI. So VAPI.ai is a website which allows you to build voice assistants by using different prompts, and you can also attach different functions to the assistants so that they can interact with different services and different APIs. So from the landing page, what you need to do is you need to select assistants. Once you're on the assistants page, what you need to do is you need to click on this button, which is create assistant. And now we need to give a name to our assistant. So let's say we can call it restaurant booking handler. And it's going to be a blank template. And as you can see, there's already quite a few predefined templates which you can use to test your voice agent. And finally, what we need to do is we need to click on this button, which is create assistant. So at this point, our assistant has been created. And now what we need to do is basically we need to modify some of the variables or some of the input fields which the assistant is going to use to decide how to interact with the person who they're talking to. And what we need to do first is we need to modify the model section. So you can see there's two fields in here. The first one is first message, and then the second one is system prompt. So we want to change the first message. So let me just go ahead and copy and paste this. So this will be our first message. Hello, this is Elliot. How can I assist you today? I guess that's a fair reply when someone is calling a restaurant to book a reservation. And then we need to add a system prompt. So I have prepared the system prompt as well. So let me just copy and paste it, and then we can take a look at it just to see how it looks. So this is our system prompt, and we're saying you're a friendly and professional voice assistant for a restaurant called Olive Grove Bistro. And then we're giving some speech characteristics to the actual voice agent just to tell it how to speak, how to pronounce certain words, and so on. And then we're telling the voice agent what their main job is. So you can see the voice agent needs to collect the full name, the party size, and the preferred date and time for the booking. And here we have some steps for the booking. So this is basically the steps that the voice agent needs to follow in order to accomplish a successful booking. And finally, once they have all the information, as in once the assistant has all the information needed, then it's going to send all the information to a webhook, which we're going to define shortly. So you can see this point 3 says, send the following JSON object to the webhook. And this is the information that will be added to our Google Sheet later on. So once we have defined the first message and the system prompt, what we need to do is we need to change the model that we want to use. So by default, it uses OpenAI and GPT-4o. So I'm going to use 4o mini because I think it's slightly faster and obviously it's cheaper. So let's select this, and we want to reduce the temperature to say 0.2 because we don't want the agent to speak too much and waffle. So yeah, so at this point we can publish the assistant so that we can save our information that we've entered so far. And after this, what we can do is we can just click on the different tabs just to see if there's anything else that we need to configure. So by default, we have this transcriber that's deep gram and the language is English. That's perfectly fine. Then the voice configuration. From here, you can choose like the voice that you want the assistant to have. So by default, it's the VAPI provider's voice, and that's Elliot. So we can keep it as it is. And then we have tools, and this is where we need to define a custom function, which is going to basically send all the information which the user provides during the call. And then this information will be sent to a make endpoint. And then the make endpoint is going to receive the information and then ingest this into our Google Sheet. So from here, what we need to do is we need to go to tools and we want to define a new function. Once you are inside the tools page, what you need to do is you need to click on create tool, and this is going to give you a bunch of options. So we need to select the first option, which is function. And from here, we want to give the function a name and some description. So we can call it save restaurant booking reservation. And then for description, what we want to say is basically we need to say send a message with the booking details, and then this includes customer name, party size, date and time once the booking is confirmed. So once you have added tool name and description, the next step is to scroll down a little bit and you will see that there is a parameters section. So this is basically the information that will be passed on to this function. And in our case, what we need to do is we need to click on this button, add property. And from here, what we can choose is basically we can say that the name of our parameter is going to be booking details, and this is going to be of type object. So basically, this object is going to contain the customer name, the party size, and the date and time about our restaurant booking. And yeah, so what we need to do is we need to click on this apply button. So in here, what we need to do is we need to paste the make webhook endpoint, which we're going to create very soon. So we can just save the function in the meantime, and we can go to make.com, create a webhook, get the URL, and then paste it in here. So if you don't have an account with make.com, you can sign up for free. There is a link down in the description. And once you have signed up and you're logged in, what you need to do is you need to click on this button, which is create a new scenario. And from here, what we want to do is we want to select webhooks, and then we need to choose trigger when webhook receives data. So we want to create a new webhook. Let's say we can give a name to the webhook. We can call it restaurant booking handler. And then you click on this button, save. So once you click the save button, then you see it's going to give you a URL, and this is the URL where we will be publishing data to. So we can click on this button, copy address to clipboard, and this is going to save the URL. So now we need to go back to VAPI and basically paste this URL. So once we have entered the URL into the server settings, now we need to save our function again. So we need to go to the assistant page again. And then from here, what we need to do is we need to go to tools, and we need to open this drop down and select the function that we created just a moment ago. I have selected our function that we created. And now what we need to do is we need to publish this assistant just to make sure that our work is saved. At this point, we have our booking handler ready to go. So just to recap, we've added a first message, we've added the system prompt, we've selected the AI model which we want to use. We've also created a function that's assigned to our assistant, and that's the name of the function. And the final missing bit of the puzzle is to go back to our make scenario and just ensure that whenever we publish data to the webhook that we created, it's going to ingest or add this data to the Google Sheet that we created right at the beginning of this video. So let's go back to our make scenario. Let's click on save just to save this webhook. And now we need to basically create another component, which is going to be Google Sheets. And from here, we want to select the first option, which is add a new row. And after this, what you need to do is you need to find the spreadsheet which you have created inside Google Drive. So you need to click on this button and then find the file name. I have selected the spreadsheet ID. So this is literally the file name that you will see in Google Drive once you create a new file. After this, you select the sheet name. This is almost always going to be sheet 1 unless you're working with many different sheets. And now you can see that we have 3 different columns, and these are the columns that we defined at the beginning of this video inside our Google Sheet. And yeah, so right now we're not going to have any data from this webhook because we haven't published any data. So we can't really map the input data to the values inside the Google Sheet. But what we can do is we can save this scenario as it is. And what we can do is we can basically run the scenario now. We can talk to our assistant, and at the end of the call with our assistant, it's going to publish the information such as name, party size, date, and time to this webhook. The webhook is going to receive the data, and finally, it's going to add it to our Google Sheet. So in the first instance, it's not going to add anything because we haven't mapped the data. So we need to run the scenario first so we can see how the data is formatted and how exactly it will come to this webhook. And then we can map it, and finally we can save it to our Google Sheet. So let's run our make scenario. And after this, what we need to do is we need to go to our VAPI dashboard, and then we can initiate a conversation with the assistant that we created.
Hello, this is Elliot. How can I assist you today?
Hi, I would like to make a reservation if that's okay.
Of course, I'd be happy to help you with that. First, could I have your full name, please?
Yes, my name is Jason Thompson.
Thanks, Jason. Next, could you please tell me the size of your party?
Yeah, we're going to be 4 people.
Great, and what date and time would you like for your reservation?
Can we do 25th of May at 7:30 p.m.?
Just to confirm, you meant the 25th of May, right? And that's at 7:30 p.m.?
Yes, that's correct.
Thanks, Jason. So that's a table for four on the 25th of May at 7:30 p.m., correct?
Yes, that's right.
Great. I booked your table at Olive Grove Bistro. We look forward to seeing you.
As you can see, our make scenario was triggered successfully, and now we need to make sure that we've received the data from this conversation. So if you click on this button and then you expand the message object, after this we need to go to tool calls, then expand this function, arguments, booking details, and there you go. So we've got the name, we've got the party size, and we've got the reservation date and time. At this point, what we can do is we can map all this information or all these fields into our Google Sheet. So let's click on our Google Sheets component, then let's scroll down a little bit. And from here, we've got the name. So let's click on this field. And now we basically need to expand the objects and then find the information that we need to insert into this column. So we need to basically go to booking details, and under booking details, you will see that we have the name. And we need to do exactly the same for party size and reservation date and time. Once we have done this, then what we can do is we can save this. So now we can save the entire scenario and we can do another test just to see that when we speak to our assistant again, once the conversation finishes, then we should basically receive all the data about the booking into our webhook, and then the webhook is going to pass this information to the Google Sheet, and then everything is going to be saved. So let's run our scenario, and we can go back to our VAPI dashboard and initiate another conversation with our assistant.
Hello, this is Elliot. How can I assist you today?
Hi, I would like to make a reservation if that's okay.
Of course, I'd be happy to help you with that. First, could I have your full name, please?
Yes, my name is Jason Thompson.
Thanks, Jason. Next, could you please tell me the size of your party?
Yeah, we're going to be 4 people.
Great, and what date and time would you like for your reservation?
Can we do 25th of May at 7:30 p.m.?
Just to confirm, you meant the 25th of May, right? And that's at 7:30 p.m.?
Yes, that's correct.
Thanks, Jason. So that's a table for four on the 25th of May at 7:30 p.m., correct?
Yes, that's right.
Great. I booked your table at Olive Grove Bistro. We look forward to seeing you.
So now, if we go to our spreadsheet, then we should see all the data. There you go. We have all the data that we passed on to our assistant, and now we can see all of this in our Google Sheet. So we've got the name, the party size, the date and time. Everything has been saved successfully. If you found this video useful, please like it and subscribe to the channel. If you want to get access to all the templates behind this video and for any of my previous videos, please join my school community. The link should be down below in the description. It's completely free and you don't need to pay anything. If you want to get the prompt behind this voice assistant, you can write a comment in the comment section below, and then I will send you a link to it. Thank you very much for your time and see you in the next video.